Wheels here, boys and girls. Oh boy, I've got a very exciting package to show y'all. It comes from Lionel LLC, Concord, North Carolina. Ooh. Now, I must be honest, I don't exactly know what's in this box. I do know my friends at Lionel said they were sending me some sort of like first look at like a next gen diecast mold or something like that. I'm not exactly sure what's in here. It's a pretty lightweight package, so I think it's a 1/64 scale if anything. But they told me to unbox it on camera. We're gonna see what's inside. If it's not anything cool, I'll probably delete this footage and it'll never see the light of day. But they seemed excited to send this box to me, so I'm excited to open it. Let's check this out. Always be careful when handling knives, kids. Oh, there's another box inside. Oh gosh, security in this thing's like Fort Knox. Oh my gosh, so much bubble wrap, jeez. It doesn't say fragile, but my gosh. Have we made it to the end yet? Is it? Oh my God. This isn't just a next-gen diecast mold. This is a fully finished next-gen diecast prototype. Look at it! Oh my goodness. I feel like I need to be handling this thing with gloves. Hold on. Okay, the only gloves I could find were these like winter gloves that I just realized don't even match. These aren't even from the same pair. But it'll have to do. Oh my goodness. This is incredible. Take a good look at this. A good close-up view of this Eric Jones U.S. Air Force 2022 Next Gen prototype diecast. And actually, Lionel sent a note. This is apparently the first completed 1/64 scale prototype like in existence, out in the wild, I should say. As someone who's been collecting NASCAR diecasts since I was a little kid, as someone whose YouTube channel really got started by doing NASCAR diecast related content, this is actually blowing my mind a little bit. Like, I didn't expect to get chills, but this is the first next gen diecast out in the wild. Let's analyze this thing now. Okay, I'm gonna let the moment pass. Let's be professional here. Let's be very, very delicate. This is an ARC Action Racing Collectibles 1/64 scale diecast built on Lionel's all-new next-gen tooling. So this is the kind of diecast you'll be able to find at your favorite drivers' merchandise hauler, at the track, at LionelRacing.com, NASCAR.com, and other official diecast retailers. As you can tell, this is a next-gen Chevy Camaro. I realize I'm still using the glove. It's partially as a joke, but honestly, I feel kind of scared touching this thing with my bare greasy fingers. I want to get a straight-on view. You can really see the symmetry. Like, it looks just like the next gens do on track. Here's a front view, you can kind of get an idea for it. A top-down view, you can see there's really no skew in the rear end at all, but they still have the natural, curves that you see around the wheel wells and the fenders of an actual on-track next-gen car. If you haven't been to a track yet this year, to a race yet this year, you may not have been able to notice it on TV, but these cars do look very different. They're shaped very differently than the previous Gen 6. In fact, let me find, I probably have a Gen 6 laying around here that we can show for comparison. Here we go. This is a Chase Elliott 2020 prototype. If I set them next to each other, you can kind of see some of the differences. The most notable difference, in my opinion, is like the rear. You can see how the old Gen 6, it was more of a squared off rear bumper. The next gen, it's kind of rounded there, you can see. That's just one way, of course, the next gen is different from the Gen 6, but I'll say this, it looks like the diecast nailed it. Compare the front noses of the two. These are both Camaro ZL1s, and obviously they changed the design slightly for the next gen, but you can see just a comparison, the Gen 6 versus the next gen. This is really, really cool. As you can see though, this new next gen car has rolling Goodyear tires, just as we're used to seeing on these cars. It's got a plastic black window net there on the driver's side. It's kind of hard to see on that dark green Air Force color, but you can see there's hood vents decals on the hood of this thing. Lionel's using decals. The reason they said they're doing this is because teams actually will sometimes change out, I guess, the size or shape of the vents depending on the track. So by making a decal that can be printed on the body, it means the cars will be more realistic, especially when they do like race win or race used versions. Again, this is just a prototype, but if we kind of analyze some of the decals, I mean, it looks really sharp. It looks really clean. Obviously, you got the door number slid forward, which is, it's kind of weird. Like, I've gotten used to seeing it on the track, but looking at it in diecast form now, like, I don't know, it's almost like I'm having to get used to it all over again. The Air Force decals there on the side look straight, look clear, no noticeable nicks or anything. I think you can see it there, but they've got the Chevy logo and the driver name Jones above the driver side half of the windshield, just like they've been running in the Cup Series this year. Remember, they added like a slight vent in the windshield on the real Cup cars, so they slid the drivers' names over to the other side of the windshield. Anyway, that's accurately replicated in this diecast, so that's cool to see. Good attention to detail, need that. I just realized I haven't shown you all the underside of the car yet, but there you have it. Again, the next gens, it's like a sealed, flat underbelly now. You aren't going to see all the exhaust pipes the way you would on the previous generation of cars. So like if I hold up this Chase Elliott car for comparison, I know this one's got a white bottom, but you can see all the little pipes and exhaust going out the passenger side, like that kind of stuff. Not prevalent on the next gen body just because it's not prevalent on the real cars. Like we saw when Harrison Burton flipped upside down at Daytona. It was flat. It looked just like this underneath that car. Of course, flat with the exception being the rear diffuser, which let's get a good look at that. There you go. The rear diffuser is there. If I set the car down, you probably already noticed it's kind of in shadow there because it is black and shadow's dark, but you can see the rear diffuser kind of jutting out the back of the bottom. It looks good. I was worried that the rear diffuser was going to look too thick or too bulky, or it was going to like stand out or not be shaped right. This prototype diecast, from what I can tell, it's shaped exactly right. It's not too big. It's not in the way. It's exactly how it's supposed to look. So I don't have any issues. In fact, this looks really good. This looks very true to what we've seen on the track all year long. So very pleased, honestly, with how the rear diffuser came out. And you got a good view of the rear spoiler. There's a big rear spoiler on this prototype. So I don't know if all the other diecasters are going to have big rear spoilers as well. Like this is probably the only tracks this year we've seen this kind of rear spoiler at are like, I don't know, maybe the super speedways. Are they running a bigger rear spoiler at the super speedways? Everywhere else, they made this decision kind of last minute, but they're running, I believe, a 4-inch spoiler everywhere else, right? So I'll be curious to know if Lionel adjusts that as the year goes on. Like this Chase Elliott diecast from 2020, remember they had the big rear spoiler at some tracks that year, and they had the small rear spoiler at some tracks. This Chase Elliott prototype from that year has a small spoiler on it, but I have other 2020 diecasts with big spoilers on them. So I'm not sure where that consistency went, where the consistency comes from, but I'm not sure what Lionel is going to do with the next gen cars. But for what it's worth, the spoiler does look really good. You got the little detail, you got the little, I don't know, are they like little bolts, I guess, on the back? I think you can see those there. The detail is there. It's not just a plank slab of black plastic or anything there. No, it looks... There's some detail there. It looks the way it's supposed to look. And again, the driver's name is also on the rear windshield, as you can see. Eric Jones. Do they know that Eric Jones is kind of one of my sentimental favorites? I still like Eric Jones. I try not to pick a favorite, like an absolute favorite. I try to be as objective as possible, but I'm always sympathetic to Eric Jones. I've always liked him. So it's cool that they sent me an Eric Jones car, especially a really cool, a really clean looking paint scheme diecast like this green Air Force car looks. Just kind of gently rolling it around. It rolls smooth. I'm noticing no like weird issues with the tires where they like kind of stop rolling, and this is sort of a slippery surface I'm on right here, but no, the tires roll, they grip the way they should. Oh, let's look at the wheels. Oh my gosh, I haven't even looked at like the wheels, the single lug. Oh, this is gonna be tough to get a good view of, but yeah, no, I mean the little silver little pin there that I guess acts as the axle, that's the hub on these diecast cars. That looks very similar to like the old ones. Like I'm looking at this Chase Elliott car from a couple years ago and it's the same, but the actual pattern on the wheels, like the molding on the hubs themselves, look different. They look like the next gen hubs. Wow. And this is on a 1/64 scale car. You've seen this in my hand. It's like 2 inches long or so. This is such a small car and they still have that little added bit of detail. I mean, that's what people are expecting when they buy these diecast cars. They want the most accurate representation of what's on the track, and I'm impressed. The wheels, it's very subtle, but it looks really, really good. I'll be curious on these 1/64s if they change the color of the wheel or of the hub depending on the paint scheme, depending on the driver, because some teams, some cars, they'll have white or red or silver. We've seen some silver this year on teams. I'm not sure if Lionel's going to be able to do that, at least on these 1/64s, but the black, because this is basically black on Eric Jones, at least the molding is there, the detail is accurate there. I just don't know what the colors will look like from one diecast to the next. Again, this is a prototype. I did just get a message from Lionel right before I started recording. They said that these diecasts will start shipping out to the public, to customers, late summer. I gotta say, I'm impressed. I really am. It's cool to see a completely different looking mold model than I've been used to seeing. Like I remember that when I got my first Gen 6 diecast back in 2013, I think it was Matt Kens at Dollar General and Kyle Busch M&Ms were the first two that I ordered that showed up in the mail. And when I got them, they looked so different than the Gen 5 and Car of Tomorrow bodies I'd been used to seeing and buying that it just blew me away. Like I just couldn't take my eyes off them. I was playing with them. I was a kid at the time. I was playing with them all day long while I was watching TV. I'd be looking at them, spinning them around. When I was making stop motions, I was playing with them, spinning around. They just look so cool. And I'm getting, even though I'm 8-10 years older now, I'm getting some of those vibes again where it's like, wow, this thing just looks a little different. Like I want to play with this. And I haven't said that about a diecast car in a long, long time. So, wow, this was a surprise. I thought that box, I thought it was just gonna be like a blank, like mold, like car just showing, oh yeah, here's the body, here's the wheels. But no, I didn't expect a full paint scheme, a fully finished next-gen prototype, let alone such a cool paint scheme. And one of my favorite, one of my personal favorite drivers, of course. This blew me away. Holy cow. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that I really need to highlight. If you kind of look inside the cockpit, I've been trying to look inside the cockpit, but it's hard to get a good view. I can see the steering wheel. I was trying to see if you could get a view of like the digital dash. I can't tell if there's anything in there. The windows are just slightly tinted, or the light in here, because I have all these studio lights hitting it from every angle, like there's a glare. It's hard for me to tell for sure, but I can definitely make out the steering wheel. I guess the interior looks very similar to the interior on any other 1/64 scale cars that I can remember. Yeah, like even this one, I'm having a hard time seeing in like all the detail. There's a steering wheel in this one for sure, but other than that, I can't really tell what the differences on the interior are. I know when I talked to Howard Hitchcock, the CEO of Lionel, a few months ago, he showed me some of the earliest molds of the 1/24 scale next gens, and those did have, you could see the digital dash in there. It looked like a tablet almost, the way they look in Cup Series cars today. It's hard to tell if that really translated into the much smaller 1/64 scale, but it sounds like on the 1/24 scale, they'll have a lot more of that detail clearly visible to the naked eye. But other than that, I don't know if I'm missing anything. I'm sure someone out there screaming at me, what about this, what about that? But on the surface, and even a little past the surface, this thing looks really, really good. I am very, very impressed and very thankful to Lionel for sending me this to show you guys early here on the show, an exclusive, out of the groove next-gen diecast reveal and reaction and preview. Again, these things apparently will begin shipping in the next few months, late summer, they said. So that's exciting. If you have any of these diecast pre-ordered, they'll be coming before too long. And of course, there's still time to pre-order your favorite driver's next-gen diecast, whether it's in 1/64 or the much bigger 1/24 scale. This is so cool. Wow, Christmas came early. Thank you so much for watching this video. I'm gonna take off this glove, I look like a cartoon character. If you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button. We talk NASCAR news, we react to races. Sometimes we have exclusive reveals like this. Lots of great stuff here on the show, so make sure to hit that subscribe button if you're not already subscribed. I gotta shout these guys out as well. Thank you to my Patreon supporters. This channel has come a long way over the years since I was, pushing these cars around in circles, making stop motions in my parents' extra bedroom. And so I appreciate the support. Wouldn't be here without it. You guys are truly the best. That's gonna do it. Thank you for watching. I now have to go find a very safe and secure place for this thing. This is still kind of blowing my mind. I did not expect to open that box and see a fully finished next-gen diecast months before they officially get shipped out. That's awesome stuff. Glad you guys got to share this experience along with me. I appreciate y'all watching. I will see you in the next video.